What's good, YouTube friends and family? Welcome back to the first episode of 2026. Happy New Year. We are back. Ace, what's good, brother?
What's good, my boy?
Ain't nothing, man. Ain't nothing. Everybody tuning in. Just make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. We apologize just for being absent, but we're here. Uh, tell a friend to tell a friend, share the channel, and continue to help us grow. We appreciate the love and the support. Free agency. I feel like it's the right time to get clicked back in. A lot of moves been made. I see you got your little Bucks uniform over there. We ain't see Giannis get dealt so far. Ace, I mean, how you feel about that? You feel like he should have been moved? Feel like he should have stayed? What teams you think he should have went to?
First off, I don't like how it got to be a little uniform, my boy. Secondly, I feel like it might be time to break that relationship up. Once the home crowd start booing you and you ain't feeling the love no more, why not pack it up? Uh, for his type of game, he got to go somewhere where, of course, they'll need him on the ground, defensively, offensively, but he needs the ball in his hand. Where can he go right now, win, and have the ball completely? Not a lot of organizations that can offer that.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I thought he was gonna get dealt. One thing that surprised me, which me and you talked about it on the side, that he signed an extension last year with Milwaukee, which it kind of made sense because he was able to get the max dollars out of that minimal extension that he made. Um, so it made sense money wise of what he was trying to do, but it kind of shown that Giannis just wasn't happy. He was doing everything for, you know, the team and the cameras. He's one of those like faithful players, and I appreciate him for that. But I definitely thought he was going to be moved. It's definitely shocking. But as far as what Milwaukee is stating is that they're going to be able to get more of a package back in return, given this summer. What that's going to entail, who knows? So many teams like Minnesota, Golden State, you got the Miamis that were giving Milwaukee some offers, but clearly it just wasn't good enough. But let me ask you this: if you had, I guess, out of all the teams that were offering Milwaukee, which team would you like to see him on the most?
Off the top of my head, I would say the Warriors only because he'd be surrounded with shooters. You'd give up some pieces like Draymond, Buddy Hield, however, but Giannis kicking it out to Steph, who's gonna, that's a good little one-two punch. You'd have Podemski, and I'm pretty sure some of the other surrounding shooters they could groom them up. He can pull up the defensive anchor, and he's taller than Draymond, so he would definitely help on the floor for that regard.
But they talked about Draymond leaving and to Milwaukee. How you felt about that? That was a little wild to me.
That would have just been Milwaukee to, I don't say center around Draymond. They would have been rebuilding clearly. That would have just been like, Giannis, go win, do what you got to do. We'll see you. I honestly feel like Draymond would have been the type to finish out the year with Milwaukee and then go right back to the Warriors. I don't really see him going anywhere too many places.
Yeah, one thing I said too, other than like other players like the KDs and stuff like that going to different teams. I would like to see Giannis go to one other team and then that kind of be it for him. It would have been nice to see him in Milwaukee and retire there. But if he does go to another team this summer, I would like him to like just stick there and just ride it out. Um, but I know a lot of other teams were concerned at the same time with his calf strain. It kind of reminds me when KD had that injury where it kept being a calf issue. So that's one thing I think Milwaukee's watching out for, but also other teams as well, just to see how that looks for the rest of the season and stuff like that. But good luck to him. Another player I want to bring up, Ace, your boy Ja. It looked like Memphis is not messing with them. It looks like they didn't find a deal for him to get out of there. Um, how you feel about that situation?
I feel like Ja's a good talent. He brings energy, but I feel like his off the court dealings with the suspension and everything, his attitude or alleged attitude, how people perceive it, that's what's holding him back. Uh, they sat him out until the trade deadline to figure out what they want to do with him. I just feel like he was marketable before, but now that he really is exposed, he can't shoot. Most people want guards who can stretch the floor and have a positive attitude. I feel like he can revitalize his career. It'll just be hard to do. He just got to, keep quiet, ball out, and do what he got to do to get up there.
Yeah,
But
which I was just gonna say I totally agree with you. This season so far, I believe he's only played like 8, 9 games. I know he had a couple lingering injuries, I believe, but he needs to just hopefully he could take the rest of this season to be able to put forth back what we've seen from him the last few years. So potentially teams in the summer could give him some good deals and stuff like that, and he's able to move on. But right now, hopefully he stays focused. It ain't looking too good. Um, but we could talk about some other trades. I'm gonna bring up a list here of all the moves that has happened thus far. We could start off with Trae Young. He was one of the first guards that we seen get moved before the trade deadline, get traded to Washington for CJ and Corey Kispert. Just give you a quick 2 pointers on a Trae Young acquisition by Washington.
Yo, is my camera working? Why is it?
Musa, what up? Nah, your camera's off. We hear you, but your camera's off.
I don't know why it's showing on my background. Hold on.
Nah, but as far as the Trae Young thing, I just feel like that would have been a necessary. I don't want to say they gave up too early. His experience in scoring would have definitely helped in terms of playoffs. But I guess Atlanta saw opportunity before things got too late. They made a deal and traded him. Now, when CJ McCollum, you get a veteran guard. He's efficient with his scoring, and he plays a little bit better defense, in my opinion, than Trae Young.
Musa, what's good, guy?
What up, y'all?
What up, Musa?
Ain't none, man. We just here talking free agency talk, man. Everybody tuning into the channel, like and subscribe to the show. Musa, before we move on, any thoughts you got on just Giannis not getting moved? We talked a little bit about him not getting moved before the trade deadline.
It kind of makes sense. If you're not gonna get anything back that's gonna complement the amount of talent you're gonna get from Giannis on a day-to-day. So you're gonna lose the deal regardless. And as far as like talent wise, if you're not seeing anything that is actually gonna help you build in the rebuild mode, then I don't see why not just wait until the offseason. Granted, there is some opportunity to be flexible with some of the contracts, which I think Milwaukee is prepping to do so. Right now, they're 19. I think it's $19.5 million below the first apron, and so that's actually a good thing. You have, I think, $61 million combined between Turner, Kuzma, and Bobby Porter. So they only have a 2031 and 2031 and 32 first round picks currently, but they do have Gary Trent and KBJ with expiring contracts that have play options worth a combined probably $8.7 million. So considering all of that, they're trying to make some moves where they can at least get some decent pieces back to have some type of respectable roster for the rebuild. Obviously, we heard the teams with Miami and Milwaukee. Minnesota as the big names. New York was looming around here and there, but again, you'll probably have to give up Cat in order to get a Giannis because of the contracts. It's been reported for Minnesota exactly. If they was going to make that move, McDaniels would have to be on that offer. And me personally, I just like Jaden McDaniels too much to lose him in the trade. I will happily give up Randall, DiVincenzo, and at the time Conley before they started moving things around. But
which is not bad because you still got Naz Reid, you still got Rudy Gobert.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Naz Reid would have been a part of that deal too, probably.
Oh, you would have put him in there?
You would have had to. Him and if you're not giving up Daniels, you would have had to. So it was tough, but I expect him to get moved by the offseason.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention too is that New York specifically mentioned the whole thing about Giannis's calf. The same thing I was talking about Ace earlier. Everybody was concerned about Giannis's calf. Same thing that kind of happened to KD before. And I hope it doesn't get to that point where we do witness a significant injury from him. But just to ask, you guys this: do you think Milwaukee continues to play Giannis, given the standings in the season, given where they're at?
I think Giannis will play. Roman, what up?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Mike's hot.
Derek, what's good, man? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the panel, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
I expect Giannis to play at some point this year. Given the fact it's Giannis, he wants to play. And I don't know how many games he already has missed, but he might be able to still probably play just to at least be eligible for the awards. But end of the day, though, they're not trying to win anything real quick. But knowing Giannis, he's gonna try to get to the playoffs, and if they can, that'll be great. But I don't expect much from Milwaukee this season.
I say get to the playoffs. Given the standings right now, I believe they're like third or fourth from the worst team in the East right now. I don't think they're going to fall that below just because Giannis is not going to go out like that. But I just don't.
They're 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 games out from the 10th seed. So
I mean, the thing is that if you plan to deal him, which I think Milwaukee will, I mean, yeah, you want to go out there and put forth effort, but at the same time, given the draft that's coming this season, if you could squeeze in a top 6, 7, 8 pick, make a trade, and also get a draft pick back in return to move up in the draft, I mean, Milwaukee could kind of, revamp this. It's going to take some time, but they could get a nice draft pick if they could squeeze in the top 3, top 4 picks this season.
That's going to be tough.
Do you feel like that Damian Lillard trade stopped things a lot with the organization?
No.
I was going to say that the Damian Lillard trade, they traded for Damian Lillard. They lost, they traded away Chris Middleton. Next, Damian Lillard, that return, they didn't get to the conference finals. He tears his Achilles. Trade him away. No more Middleton. No second option, really. No definitive second option. Do you feel like that halted things in the organization?
I'll let Musa go off on it, but I think it really halted from when they got rid of Drew Holiday as well, just to bring his name up.
Honestly, also when you have someone like Damian Lillard and Giannis together, in each of the seasons that they were there, one or the other was out for a long period of time in the playoffs, is going to hurt the team. So yeah, that definitely plays a role. But again, when you don't have the greatest supporting cast around the two players, and your 2 star players are both in and out of the line, it's going to cause issues, and you guys are not going to be as successful as you will want. I would like to think if they were both healthy playing against Indiana one of those years, they would at least beat them once. So, given those circumstances, yeah, it's unfortunate. I would have loved to see them play in the postseason fully healthy, see what they can really do. But how things work in the NBA, man, it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. So,
Fernando, what's good, my guy? We'll wait for Roman to get back so he can piggy off the Giannis deal. But we can move on, fellas, to
I heard y'all talking about Memphis.
Yeah, we can get to that. We talked about Trae Young a little bit. Go ahead, Ace.
Now, like you were saying, the trades, I feel like Trae Young popped it off, and that was way before the deadline. However, I don't know about y'all. I was on my phone hearing about some of these deals that was going on, and I was surprised, honestly. So, one, I want to say this, though. Shout out to the Celtics for what they've done this season and how they've been in the fight, honestly. They lost their main scorer in Jason Tatum, but they still been willing themselves to be in the top 3 in the conference, so I give respect to that. With Vujicic's trade, I'm looking forward to seeing how that would manifest in the playoffs. That's a solid double-double down low, mostly healthy. Let's go.
Yeah,
Boston's success doesn't surprise me. I'll wait when Roman comes up here because he can. I think I said it around him at work, but I said they probably win 50 games this year, and people looked at me crazy at work. 50 games. I'm like, yeah, I've seen enough in the preseason defensively is what gave me hope.
When you
I
said
was
that,
expecting Brown to have a good year, not this type of year, but I said it. I was like, I won't be surprised if they were to win 50 games, and they're on pace to win 50 games. I think they're at 34 right now and 18, if I'm not mistaken. So still plenty of games left to be played, but what Brad Stevens has been doing with as far as like out in the front office work is second to none, man. I mean, just past season in June, we was over the luxury tax, first and second apron, like over 500 million. By the deadline, we're at 212 million. And we have flexibility going into the offseason because we have expiring contracts like Vooch. And we got rid of offloaded some other contracts than Josh Minot and things like that. So I just love the moves that we're making. And it seems to me that we probably can still make some noise in the offseason to add some more depth to the roster with a fully healthy Tatum, because I don't really expect Tatum to come back this season. If he does, cool. But honestly, I'm not expecting much from him, even if he was to come back, because it's going to take a year or two for him to fully get back into the swing of things. I assume, I mean, he could be the outlier, but I expect a full year or so where he finally gets back into his rhythm and things like that. Given that, granted, his athleticism was primarily his game, but he still was dependent on some of his athleticism. So if he comes back, he's averaging 28 like you normally do, cool. But I mean,
right now on live on the show, how far do you see the Celtics going this year? You said 50 games. What do you see them doing in the playoffs?
I don't know. It depends on seeding. I don't expect them coming out the East. I never said that from when we was going into the season, so I'm not going to say that now.
Well, I'm saying, what are you saying now? I just want to hear it first.
I don't know. I don't know. It depends on the seeding.
If I had to predict, given how things are going right now with the acquisition of Vucevic, let's just say that Tatum doesn't come back. I do see them being, a top 3 seed moving forward. I could see them possibly making a conference finals if they continue to gel, if Mazzulla is able to trigger Vucevic in the offense, kind of like how they did with Kristaps. I think it's going to gel well. One thing, I don't know if you guys caught the game yesterday when they played Miami, and I didn't really get to realize it was my first time actually fully watching Vucevic play. I always know that he was a good player, but one thing I appreciate about his game is that he's a wonderful facilitator, and he doesn't move too fast. He lets the game come to him. And first game with the C's, I mean, 11 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, over 50% from the field and stuff like that. I mean, he looked pretty good. And you could tell they wasn't running no schemes. They wasn't doing they was just pick and roll action plays. Simple, just like that. Using his body on the switches and stuff like that. I think if Mazzulla could trigger him in the right schemes, I do think they could go far in the playoffs. I mean, trying to make a finals run, I'm not gonna take it away from him. We'll continue to see if they could stay healthy. We'll continue to see what continues to happen to the Eastern Conference. We have the Knicks. You got Detroit. Philadelphia starting to come back into play. So it depends. But I do think they're going to stay and hold to where they're at, kind of like a 2-3 seed.
For this comment in particular, that can only happen if they're not 2-3 seed. New York is currently the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
And
they'll end up seeing each other in like the second round. Oh no, second round if that's the case.
To answer Ace's question, because he didn't, to me, I know knowing Ace with our history, that was not a very tasteful answer from me. So looking at the seeding, Boston will probably play between Orlando, Miami. Let's say they play Orlando because Orlando's the 7th seed. I can see them getting to the second round, but then they'll have to play New York. And New York got Philly, and the way Embiid's been playing, that won't be a very easy first round matchup. So if they was to play New York, I can see them winning. But
I mean, I can see
I would
that
probably lean towards New York in 6. But again, it all depends on it really is depending on Jaylen Brown. If
I got New York winning the East.
I bet you do. I it really depends on Jaylen Brown because if obviously you're going to hunt Jalen Brunson on defense as you should, and they had some success last season in the playoffs against Boston doing this, where they have Brunson on Brown or whatnot, and they kind of hide him, but Brown wasn't really hitting his shots like that in the mid range. If Brown's hitting his shots in the mid range, it's GG's for Brunson. You can't hide him. But if he's missing them, he's not hitting them at an efficient clip, then you have a chance defensively when it comes to guarding them. Because Boston does a really good job moving the ball around. Vooch is going to help with the rebounding, but still going to be a team success thing because Knicks one of the better rebounding teams, and you got Mitchell Robinson, who's one of the better offensive rebounders in the league. So I would probably say New York will have the betting odds to win that series in probably 6, but it could go either way.
I mean, I think the thing is what the Celtics is going to have an advantage of too, is the rebound game. You have Keita, you have Luke Garza, and now you have Vucevic now. So I just think more depth in the front court is definitely going to work in our favor when we come up with the matchups like the Embiids, who still we don't know what that's going to look like towards the end of the season as far as health. Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, let's be honest, he is an amazing, phenomenal player in today's game. You put somebody on him, you get physical with him, you take him out of his element, things could change real quick. But I think coaching is going to come into play. And I do agree. It depends on Jaylen Brown. But I think if from a Celtics standpoint, it depends on how Mazzulla uses his substitutions, timeouts, his schemes during the games. It just depends. But I definitely think they're going to continue to be in a 3-seed threshold this season.
Speaking of the East, though, and depth, I want to get back to the trades, too. We got James Harden traded to Cleveland, Anthony Davis on the Wizards. Do you feel like that makes the East more competitive next season or for the rest of this season? How do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, obviously with the Wizards, if they're healthy, that's going to make them competitive. But the Wizards being in this position doesn't surprise me because I said it last season. Like in the next few years, the Wizards will be a team to deal with in the East. It just got sped up now that you add Trae Young and Anthony Davis. And
that comment about my bad, Musa. That comment about James Harden in Cleveland. I mean, I'm just gonna say I'm not fond of that. Shit is useless to me. I'm not looking into it. I don't think it's gonna be nothing crazy. I don't think it's gonna be nothing big.
It's a complete upgrade from Darius Garland.
I feel like personally he can facilitate and then let Donovan Mitchell score. He could get the pick and roll going with the bigs, and that might be better for their offense.
He's everything Garland does, but much better and more elite scorer, and not a liability on defense. Like it's an upgrade everywhere.
He's not a liability on defense
compared to Darius Garland. Yes, he's a night and day. What? You can't hide Darius Garland.
James Harden.
I mean, I'm not even talking about from a skill standpoint. I'm just talking about effort.
Yes, it's night and day. Harden has been playing defensive. He's not an elite defensive player, so I'm not acting like he's an elite defender. But Harden has been putting in much effort on defense the last few seasons. On top of him still being able to give you 20 points per game at minimum with the 8 to 9 assist threshold. Yeah, I will happily take a 6'5" guard that can do the things that my 6'1" guard, 6-foot guard can do at a bigger frame and everything. So let me my fault, Ace. Let me ask you this real quick, Musa. Who you having guarding SGA, Harden or Mitchell? I'm not talking about the anybody else. If you had to pick one of the two, who are you going to put? But no, that's not. You can't ask a question only limited to those two players because that's not the only two players on the court. That's why you got Keon Ellis, which is another person no one's talking about in the deal later. The deals they made prior. Keon Ellis is there as the POA defender. He will probably be on the court those times with SGA, which was a great pickup when they traded DeAndre Hunter over to Sacramento. They picked him up. You also got Dennis Schroeder, who's a feisty defender, and he can help off the bench. You still got Lonzo, even though I lied. Lonzo's not there no more. But I would put Keon on him as well. I will also look at doing Dennis Schroeder at times. And Mitchell can guard in spurts also on him. Harden can guard him in spurts. I mean, Shea's going to get his buckets regardless. It's just, honestly, can you limit the open shots for the others? Because KC is not known to be a really good contested shooting 3 team. But they're one of the better teams shooting the ball open when they're open. So
you make some good points. And I mean, I agree. I'm just not I'm not too phased about the James Harden deal. In the playoffs, to me, he's a regular season player. Playoffs, I'm not really phased about it. That's really all I got for that one.
I mean, that's fair. But for Cleveland, he's going to help the Bigs tremendously. If again, it's all up to health because
at least he's available. Garland is available.
The last few seasons, either Allen or Mobley has been in and out the lineup in the playoffs when it matters most. One person that's been really reliable is Mitchell. So now you get another guard that can score at least competent enough to where you could keep them in the game. You have a bench that could keep you afloat in with the Donovan Mitchell off minutes with the Schroeders and Keon Ellis's of the world. You still got Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, great guys off the bench. And Jalen Tyson is the Swiss Army knife, who's another person you probably could throw at Shea from time to time. I like Cleveland and what they did in the trade deadline. Am I expecting them to make a deep playoff run? That determines on the health because they're in the boat where I got to believe it to see it. But if they was to make a conference finals, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, but you're naming all guards, though. All 4 of them can't be on the court at the same time in crunch time. One of those 2 got to guard Shea. Then James Harden.
Which is why I mentioned Keon. Keon will probably be on the court.
It just depends on the lineup.
In crunch time, it depends on who's on the lineup. So they're going to have to guard somebody. But James Harden is so funny. He's going to be looking good on paper until he feels funny and he wants to trade again.
Well, again, so the last comment you made, I don't think it's very fair to James because he didn't want out of LA. The problem was LA they wasn't giving him a contract extension, which I can understand, which is why I said it was probably mutual at that point. But did he really want to leave the Clippers? No. But at the age he's at, 36 years old, the Clippers is not going to want to pay him 2 years, $40 million a year, $80 million total.
Shout out Draco, but this is my thing is that it's going to be times where James Harden is on the court, and I do feel like I'm not saying he's trash, but he is a liability, and it depends on the coach. It depends on the team that they're playing. They're going to scheme up to attack that man because let's keep it real. He hasn't shown signs of being a
competent defender.
I wouldn't say a true defender because his defense is not his game, but effort. I just don't see the effort when it depends on the matchups. I'm not really feeling it.
But I think it's a little disingenuous because if you go back and watch those Clippers teams, especially this past postseason, he was some of their most solid defenders on that court because Derrick Jones Jr. was in and out the lineup. Kawhi and him were probably the only positives outside of Zubac as rim protection. They weren't really good defenders, and now even this year, up until a certain point, they were god awful as a unit. And because of how old they are, and they're not good in transition defense at all. The Clippers, that was one of their biggest issues. The deep transition defense, they were just too old to keep up and run up and down the court. But I think he's shown these last few seasons he could be competent enough on defense. And y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably his best front court he ever played with in Mobley and Jared Allen. For those 2 elite rim protectors and glass cleaners, I think it's going to benefit him a lot more on the back end because now he can be a little bit more physical on the perimeter, knowing he has those 2 guys protecting the rim. Same with Mitchell, which I think Mitchell could play some defense here and there. He has shown the ability to do that because he coming out of Louisville, he was known as a defender also. That was his primary thing. So I think he can give you flashes here and there, but we all know Mitchell's there primarily to get buckets. But no, I think they'll be solid. I think Harden's going to help a lot. I'm interested to see how Garland's going to look because we're talking about the Harden, the playoff moments and stuff like that, which is fair. Garland hasn't shown you a damn thing either in the playoffs. He actually is way worse in the playoffs for his career. I'm not comparing the 2, but Garland hasn't shown anything in the playoffs, and he's never healthy in the playoffs either. So I would like to see what he can do in LA. Shout out to him though, because I did not know. For people that don't know, his father played for the Clippers also.
And Draco said if there's a fair whistle, SGA not trying to see them bigs inside, he better hit every mid-range shot.
He will hit every mid-range shot because I don't know.
I was gonna say,
his efficiency. Listen, I know people don't like when you do the MJ talks, but statistically, the man's been on one the last 3-4 seasons in that mid, particularly this season, last season in the mid-range, and he's one of the elite finishers at the rim in the league at the guard position. So I think he'll be fine. SGA is going to be SGA. He gonna do what he do. Like I said, OKC is one of the mid or worst teams shooting contested threes. They're one of the best teams in the league when they're shooting open catch and shoot threes. And by the way, they just added one of the better shooters in Jared McCain. So that's going to help bolster that issue. And if J-Dub is healthy, which he hasn't been healthy all season, that could definitely help as well.
Not to take away from OKC, but I wanted to get back to this too.
I don't mind to cut you off. Roman, you can hear us? You good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, go ahead, Asa.
What was the most surprising trade for this deadline?
One more time?
What was the most surprising trade, or some of the most surprising trades for this trade deadline?
Definitely the AD trade, obviously. But I loved it for contract reasons and stuff for both sides. I believe the teams that probably won the deadline, in my opinion, were Dallas, Indiana, and Washington. Indiana definitely needed a big. When you lost Miles Turner, obviously, they're now ranked one of the bottom teams in the league as far as offensive rebounding go and second chance points in the paint. You get a big who's having a down year this season in Zubac, but he's one of the better offensive rebounders in the league. So that's going to help bolster that lineup. And I'll love to see a healthy Tyrese and him, along with the others around, play and see what they can do. So that's a plus. Washington, obviously, the new front office, man, I gotta give them credit. The moves that have been made these last few seasons has helped that team a lot because now you have Anthony Davis, who probably won't play this season. Same with Trae Young. So you're going into next season, you have Trae Young, a lineup of Trae Young potentially, Trey Johnson, who a lot of people haven't been talking about as one of the better shooters in the league as a rookie. Keyshawn George has been really great. You're still probably going to get a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Alex Saw, who's been really, really good this season, and you have Anthony Davis. And then your bench is going to be really good too. So I like the moves Washington's making. And you still are in a decent spot as far as the apron and cap. So Washington definitely is one of the winners for me.
Davis.
Say that again?
I said you might have Anthony Davis. His track record recently with his injury has just been crazy. You might have him for a couple
that's
of
true. That's true. But that's why I think him sitting out the rest of the season and going to a full off season, healthy and things like that, I think it will help for sure. Now, we're not predicting the future, but most people know he probably will get hurt next season. God forbid he don't. But I don't know, man. Even with him out, the lineup with that roster that they have is still going to be really good. And I think Alex is going to learn a lot from AD. And then having Trae Young, who we all know Trae Young is the pick and roll merchant, is going to help tremendously. So I love what they're doing over there. And then Dallas, it's a full rebuild with Coop around Coop. And I remember, I'm glad this show comes full circle. Because I remember a few episodes in a while, we had a conversation if Cooper Flag was a transcendent player. I might be using the wrong term, but we had a topic like this. And I remember top left over there was telling me he is not. Beg to differ now, Peso? How Cooper Flag looking to you?
To be honest, I don't recall saying that shit. If you got the clip, I mean, get the clip. I don't recall saying that.
Do we not remember having a conversation about will he be one of the? I'm using transcendent was not the word, but we talked about Coop and other players coming into this draft. Is would Coop be? I'm trying to remember the exact term.
You're probably mistaking me for somebody
else.
No,
I'm not.
Majority of y'all
was not agreeing that he would.
I was definitely vouching for Cooper Flag coming out of Duke. Definitely talking about his skill play coming.
I digress.
So
thank you, Draco. Thank you, Draco. That was the word. You said he was not. That was the conversation. Will Cooper Flag be a generational talent? And majority of y'all up here, besides Roman, was telling me no. I was one of the few people saying yes.
I mean, it's still yet to be seen, though. So
he's a generational talent right now.
I'm not going to call him a generational talent right now.
He's been a generational talent coming out the Duke. I said that. That's why
he's generational right now. What
does he do? What does he do different?
Is a generational talent, absolutely.
What does he do different from everybody else in the league?
Okay, well, for starters, he came into the league 18. He turned 19 recently. As a teenager, he's one of the better pull-up mid-range shooters in the league. He's really good getting downhill. We already know he's a very versatile defender. We knew that coming out of Duke. And he can get to the rim at elite level. And he's starting to be able to play on the ball as a guard. Like we was having those questions about going in early into the season. Like, he shouldn't be on the ball being a primary facilitator. He's gotten a lot better with that now. The three-point shots there. He has an in-between game.
Is he more of a generational talent than Wemby?
Are we serious?
I mean, that's generational talent to me.
But no, see that's not fair because obviously Wemby might be the best generational talent for talking. I like to be honest, like that comparing him to Wemby generational talent is like heaven and hell. Like it's a gap. Like I'm sorry, what Cooper's doing, you add 6 inches to that. I mean, yeah, obviously he's not as generational as Wemby, but that still doesn't take away that Cooper's not a generational talent. He could legit play guard 1 through 5, depending on the teams you're playing. And he's still a teenager. He's not even getting to his man body. Him and Con Kneppel, man. I think that makes it worse that Duke sold that freaking March Madness because there's no reason why with those two alone they didn't win the Natty last year. But
Roman, how you feeling about Cooper Flag and this generational talent comment? Because I feel like it's give or take.
I agree to an extent with Trey in the sense of like him performing this well at such a young age. I think if health isn't an issue, like his what's the word? Like the room for him to grow more. Yeah, his ceiling is pretty high. He's breaking a bunch of records, set by LeBron when he was 18. So if he continues to progress in the way he's progressing, he could easily be top 3, top 5 player in the league.
Let's get there. Let's get to that cusp before we start talking about generational talent.
You can't. Go ahead.
Let's get there. Let's see another year of this. Because anything can happen. What's going to happen? He goes down with an injury, God forbid. What are we going to be saying now? Well, he's one of the ones.
He's still a generational talent. If he gets hurt, he's still a generational talent. LeBron coming out of high school, was he not a generational talent?
Yeah, but LeBron was averaging 27, carrying a franchise. Cooper Flag, with the expectation of having Clay, Kyrie, AD. Well, Kyrie was still hurt. It was
Kyrie hasn't played. AD barely played.
It was talks of Dallas being in the conference final, top in the conference. As the season went on and injuries came, it died down to let's just throw Cooper Flag out there with the ball and let him get his reps in. The expectation went down.
But why did the expectation go down, Ace?
He didn't. I mean, like I said, people around him got hurt, but did he really perform as perfect as everyone thought he would?
So if you're going into the season with one of the generational talents coming out of this draft, and Cooper with the number 1 pick in Cooper Flag, one of the best point guards expecting to come back probably around this time, in Kyrie, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall, and the crew, and you expect Western Conference Finals. However, your 2 of your best players have been one of them has not played at all. The other one has been in and out the lineup. What do you expect is going to happen? Klay Thompson's falling off a cliff.
Look what LeBron did. The roster he had coming in at 18.
But look, again, this is the thing we're missing. LeBron's generational talent is not the same as Coop.
Not to compare the two, but we're talking about just the standpoint of a generational talent.
But that is comparing because using LeBron and Wemby, those are astronomical generational talents. I'm not saying Cooper's on their level of generational talent, but he's still a generational talent. Even with the roster he had,
I feel like being a generational
in the West at that, I wasn't expecting him to do nothing big with those injuries around him.
Well, but like you said Kyrie was expected to come back. They went into the season knowing he wasn't going to be there.
No, he was expected to be back around this time. But given the fact that AD's been in and out the lineup, Clay missed some time, Lively hasn't even played this year, Gafford's been in and out the lineup. As a front office and coach, why would you bring him back now? Just let him get fully healthy.
Cooper Flag out there doing his thing, and he's like, what, not even in the top 20 in scoring? At least go out there and, ball out.
Was LeBron top 20 in his first rookie year?
I believe so, yeah.
No, he wasn't, because actually he got outscored by Carmelo his rookie season.
You said top 20. You didn't say if he got outscored by Carmelo or not. That wasn't the argument.
And Carmelo, the reason why I'm saying that is because Carmelo wasn't a top 20 scorer either. That's my point.
We're talking about now. We're talking about Cooper Flag in today's game. Who does he score better
than? Here we go.
Who does he score
Read between the lines, Ace. I'm using the comparison.
Who does he score better than?
He's not going to be. I'm not. No one's saying he's going to be a top 20 scorer.
He's a generational talent. Who does he score better than right now and today?
As far as compared to who? Rookies or
generational talent? If he's a generational talent, he should be outscoring some people that's been in the league, some veterans.
Oh my goodness. All right. You know what? Let me ask this question, because clearly you and Peso have completely different terminologies when it comes to generational talent. What is generational talent? Let's start there so we can get a clarification here. Because my definition of it is different from you guys. So what did you guys
define it? Define it for us, please.
I just asked you the question.
Go ahead, Ace.
I would assume a generational talent is somebody who comes in the game knowing and like having their skill set ready. You're carrying a franchise, you have your game together. There's no, let's give him time. They get better with time. When LeBron came in, number one option, cool, off dribble. Wemby came in, there was injuries and things like that. Magic Johnson was somebody we didn't bring up. Let's go get it. Roll the ball out, let's go. They get better with time. It's no, give him a year or two. Yeah, they got time, but it's like, all right, cool. When LeBron came in, it was like, all right, he's ready now. With Cooper Flag, it's like, let's see. Maybe he needs to work on this, work on that. Not to say that LeBron was perfect. He got better with certain stuff. But with Cooper Flag now, you have to say, this person's injured. This person is doing this, and that. You're giving him excuses already. If it's just him by himself, hold on, let me finish now.
I'm gonna let you land.
If it's him by himself right now, and you roll the ball out, 20 points a game is generational talent. And what, he got to figure it out? What do you give him, 5 years?
You land the plane. I want to make sure I can talk before you interrupt.
All right, go ahead. You got it. I'm giving you time.
Okay, because there's a bunch of flaws in what you just said. So let me cook you real quick. So
try your best.
You said, I'll let you land. Now let the chef cook. One thing you said, one thing you mentioned was 20 points a game is that generational. For my viewers watching at home and listening while you're driving, I want you to understand that. Do you want to know who else averaged around 20 points per game during their first season? Any guesses? Anyone? Any guesses?
Hurry up.
Any guesses? Thank you, LeBron. You also said people get better with time. Coop, yes, he was struggling to start the season, absolutely. But have you been watching the last month or two of Cooper Flag? Because he's been playing like a top 20 player. 40. Did you not watch the matchup against him and Charlotte? Him and Khan went at it.
Let me know when you're done.
Hold on, we got a comment from Draco. A generational talent is an exceptional rare athlete or individual whose skill, impact, and physical traits are superior. They appear only 15 to 25 years. Okay, I respect that definition. Everyone has different definitions,
and that's where I'm with, basically.
So, with that being said, sure, that is a great definition for Draco. I don't know if Peso say he agree with that. Sure.
So that's what I was saying.
LeBron also averaged 20 points his rookie season.
The defense was way tougher then. That's a different era. What is your definition?
How is defense way tougher now when there's more space to cover?
What is your
definition? What are we talking about here?
I'll give you guys the actual definition of a generational talent. This is not my definition, but just looking it up, this is what it says. A generational talent is an athlete with once-in-a-generation abilities, possessing unique, often freak-of-nature skills that redefine their position and dominate for over a decade. These rare individuals, such as LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama,
definition?
Yep, possess inimitable traits rather than just elite, hard work and talent. This is what they say a generational talent is.
How about this is artificial intelligence about what generational talent is?
What is your definition then?
As I was saying, as I was saying,
the
see,
man
Roman, if you notice, I let him land. When I talk, he can't let me land. Let me land, brother. Come
Hold on,
now.
let's
I know
leave
you
Roman
miss
out of
doing
this.
this, Ace.
What I'm saying is,
I know you miss getting in the ring with the GOAT and losing. That's what you do every time
here
you
we
face me.
go.
You lose.
We gotta have more debate shows.
You're just pulling just define. What
Hey,
is your
Peso.
generational talent?
Peso, you can line it up. He been ducking smoke for years at this point with this debate. Hey, Big Lil Bro had to come try to save the day for him, so it's all good.
He's not defining it though. Is he defining it? Let me know he's defining it.
A generational talent for me, now that I could land my plane, is someone with the ability and the skill set that can comparable to other generational talents. Now, what I mean by that is I'm gonna go all the way back to a very clear example. We knew I want to say maybe 3 years ago, because that's when they were still all in high school together. We knew the crop of the talent coming into the league around this time, a la AJ, I was about to say Diaspora. I would say Diaspora, but AJ at BYU, for example, Coop, Boozer at Duke. These guys going into their college careers, we knew coming out of high school they were one of the generational talents because of their skill set, their athleticism, and their I already said skill set, basically their skill set and athletic ability. We knew coming out of Maine and going into Duke, Cooper's athletic ability at his size, his ability to get downhill, his skill set in the mid-range, and he's showing he can shoot the three a lot more. His post work, his versatility on defense, he was deemed as a generational talent because of those skill sets he can provide. Now, to Ace's point, how he was saying, I'm saying giving people time, however, sure, if you want to say that, that's fine. However, LeBron had to get time also. You have to get on the court and play and get reps to get better over time. Coop struggled at times in the early seasons, yes. I'm not using the injuries as an excuse for why he wasn't great. I'm bringing up injuries because you mentioned the team was expected to be in the Western Conference Finals. You won't get there if your two best players are not there either. That's just a fact. Coop wasn't going into this season having to carry the team. However, throughout the season progression, with Kyrie not playing, 80 now getting traded and barely in and out of the lineup, they've been giving the reins fully to Coop. And if you watch the last one, Coop has been balling. Now the team is not that good. They've been losing these games. Then he just his last 4 games, I think it was 49, 39, 32, 30 something. They all was losses, granted. But you see, if you watch the games, and not just because of the stats, if you watch the games, you can see it. It's there. Everything's there. The 3-level scoring ability, the posting, the downhill game was already there before coming into the league, and the defense is there because he's very versatile on all facets on defense. He can cover in space. He can cover in the drop. He's a great weak side rim protector, and he got size. He's 6'9", 6'10", and guess what? He just turned 19. He's not even his man body yet. So when if he continues to develop, top 5 may be a stretch, but he could definitely be one of the more elite wings in this league. But I'm not basing it, when I'm talking about generational talent, it's not based on just what you only doing in the league. It's based on your skill set and talent going into the league, what we can see. Like, we knew before Wemby stepped on the court, and again, I'm not comparing Wemby and Coop, but we knew stepping onto the court, Wemby was a generational talent from what his skill set provided and his size. And that's what I'm looking at too. Coop being at the size that he is with his skill set.
Yeah, but a lot of people was questioning Wemby and his specifically his size and
you know who wasn't?
How he was gonna fit as far as being like a big.
And that's fine. People gonna have their opinions and questions. I'm not disagreeing with that. But you know who wasn't questioning that?
Yeah, one of a gazillion people in the world.
No, I'm not one of gazillion. The reason why people was tanking going into that draft for Wemby. So obviously I wasn't the only one that thought the same thing about Wemby. But yeah, that's my agenda. Roman,
what's up, brother?
Go ahead.
I don't want to get stuck on this generational talent thing too much, man. We supposed to be talking about NBA trade deadline.
Hey man, it's been a while since we had a good episode. So we had an episode, man. We got to get a lot of things off our chest.
And everybody tuning in, like and subscribe to the channel, man. Leave your definition of a generational talent down below. And if you feel like Cooper Flag is a generational talent, leave a comment down below. Let us know. Roman, what was your biggest free agent move so far? not so far, but by the deadline. What do you
Biggest
think was
move,
the
like
biggest?
surprise wise or just impact wise?
Let's do both.
Surprise wise, I'll say Jaren Jackson to the Utah Jazz. I have no idea what Memphis is doing. I mean, at least now I think they're pivoting towards a full rebuild. But at least on the Utah Jazz side, unless they're pivoting now to build, towards a contender after being a middle to low, tier pack of the team, tier type of team. But that one, like I saw like Jaren Jackson to the Jazz, I'm like, why? Out of all the other teams he could have gone to, out of all the other potential contenders that might have used his talent to the Jazz, that one caught me by for surprise. Impact wise, there's a few. I will say I was at the game last night actually, Celtics versus Heat, and see it in person. I will say that the Vooch trade to the Celtics, I think, is more impactful, I think, than people give it credit to. I think Vooch is for a big, passed the ball pretty well in his first game. He had like a slow start. He seemed like hesitant to take up shots, but again, this is his first game. He don't know the Celtics system. But yeah, he did really well. And I think against Miami, I think it's a little different because Miami lacks like backup big. So there was a lot of scenarios where Vooch had a good mix match, and Pritchard didn't see him or White didn't see him. So I felt like he could have had easily 17, 18 points if they would have seen those those moments of mix match. And the other one I would say Harden. I think that Harden trade, and I agree with you guys. I think I heard you guys when you were talking about it health-wise. If health is not a concern, I think that trade is going to be a lot more impactful than, again, people give it credit to. The East is not that strong, to be honest. I think we all can agree on that. And what Harden lacks defensively, I think, with the combination of Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, those people can make up for his defensive lacks. And his playmaking, he's good offensively. We know what he can bring to the table offensively, but his playmaking has been pretty well, especially with like a good around the rim big. We've seen how he pick and roll with Zubac. So I feel like with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley now in that starting five, I think, again, if health is not an issue, that trade is going to be beneficial to Cleveland.
That's fair. Musa, or I don't think Musa. Did we get to you as far as like what was your biggest move? I know you came on a little bit later.
Nah,
biggest surprise.
I didn't. I missed that part. But I will say I didn't really have much of a big surprise, but I do want to piggyback on the Utah Memphis trade. I think it was a win-win trade. I will say, matter of fact, I could use that trade because I was actually surprised at Danny Ainge giving him what he gave up. Because we know how Danny Ainge operate. He's the one that's always trying to, I wouldn't even necessarily lowball, but yeah, you could use that lowball people and get the better deal. I mean, we seen what he did for our Celtics. So I was surprised at that. But when you're looking at the contract stuff, that's why I always mention when we talk about it in our private chat. If we just look at it, the name value, sure. But then we have to look at the contracts and why they're doing the things that they're doing. So really quickly, just to talk about the Memphis side of things first. With that trade, Memphis now has 12 first-round picks in the next 7 years. And they're only trailing Brooklyn and OKC in draft picks. So they're in full rebuild mode. And I like some of the young pieces they have. Jalen Wells is a really good guard/wing. You have Zach Edey, and Cedric Coward has been great. Like, I love Cedric Coward. So you have some pieces to build around. Jaw's still there for this season. I expect him to get moved in the offseason. So I expect Memphis to have even more probably capital in the cap space or draft capital. But they're on their first pick in the next 7 years. They have the more favorable first-round picks between Orlando and Phoenix. They have a 2027 top 4 protected first pick from the Lakers. And I can go on with more picks, but then the contract's going to Memphis. Kyle Anderson, who's on a 2-year contract. And I think his third year is not guaranteed. George Niang is going to be off the books at the end of this season. Taylor Hendricks only got 2 more years on his rookie deal. And you get Walter Clayton Jr., which I'm a huge fan of coming out of Florida.
I liked him in Utah. I'm not mad at him, but I liked him in Utah.
And then I'm glad you pivot to the Utah part, because with Utah, the contract they're getting is Jaren Jackson, which he kind of updated his contract during the summer, so now he has 4 years extra. So you're gonna have him for the long haul. He's not a good rebounder for his size. That's one of his biggest Achilles heels. But I think pairing him with Kessler, pairing him with Markkanen, since you're keeping Markkanen, I like what Utah's doing, because you got your backcourt. Keontae George, I don't know if y'all know, he one of the ones.
Yeah.
And then you got Isaiah Collier, who's one of the better playmaking guards in the league.
Man, I didn't realize how nice he was until I seen him 22 assists on fantasy. I woke up like, shit.
So you have your backcourt, and that's why I was kind of satisfied with Walter Clayton getting moved, because he just wasn't going to get enough PT.
Yeah.
So now you put him in Memphis, where he's going to get some PT, especially once you move Ja in the offseason, kind of show you what he can do. He's more of an older guard. So for Utah, I love the move, because now you have Collier, Keyshawn George, Ace Bailey.
How's he doing?
Jaren Jack. He's been in and out the lineup, but he's been okay this season. But you're gonna have a very, very big lineup going into next season. Keyshawn George, Bailey, Markkanen, Triple J, and Walker Kessler. Don't sleep on Utah, and you're gonna have draft picks coming in this season.
Is Keontae George a generational talent, or is he just one of the ones? I want to clarify.
You tell me based on your definition, since you're trying to.
No. You're the expert. I just want to clarify.
Now I'm an expert from my opinion. Okay. Anywho, again, based on what I said generational talent was, it was you coming out of college or high school, depending on where you're coming from, and going into a draft based on your skill set and ability. No, Keontae George is not a generational talent. No. Tom Brady was even a generational talent coming out of Michigan. But yes. So what I was saying with Utah, you have Jock Londell, which they moved already to Atlanta previous, so he's not there. But Vince Williams Jr., he has 2 more years on his deal. So for Utah, you get an elite stretch big, or a good stretch big, and you still have cap space and capital to deal with moving into the next offseason. So I like what they're doing, man. That was probably my biggest surprise.
Maria Gracie, hello, welcome to the show.
What's up, Maria?
Like and subscribe. Ace, you got anything else as far as like surprising before we move on? Any other moves you want to talk about?
No, I think I got him off. The James Harden to the Cavaliers was kind of surprising. The fact that Anthony Davis has been traded in the last 2 trade deadlines is like, does that mean his career is on the decline? You don't want to keep him, damaged goods. I wanted to say that now Cooper Flag can rest easy. Chris Middleton is over there, so he'll have some help to continue to be the generational talent that he is. Cam Thomas getting waived by Brooklyn. I just felt like,
come to Boston,
man. I was just like,
what team will pick him up?
You said no. Why, Musa? Why?
You don't need Cam Thomas.
No, Lonzo Ball.
I would rather have Lonzo.
I'll take him too.
He's been having a down year, forgetting how to shoot the ball. But
Cam's still injured, right?
I didn't even know he was injured.
I believe so, but I'll let Ace finish up.
No, I'm good. It was just that the Anthony Davis and James Harden was more so surprising for me. Honestly, when Minnesota traded Conley, just for him to get right back. But when they traded him, I thought we was going to see a Ja and Anthony Edwards pairing, honestly. That or Giannis. But you never know until you know.
It seems like Memphis was asking for too much for Ja, and I think that's what kind of had some pushback for some teams. But again, that goes with Ja has obviously made some mistakes that he has to fix up. It doesn't help with his father being some of his father's antics either. Off the court doesn't help. But this is why I always say it takes 2 to tango, because the organization, you can't try to sell high and you're producing low goods. If you know you're trying to get rid of a talent like Ja, and you want a healthy price for him, you got to show the value. The way you've been going about things, and giving him certain cues where he and again, that's why I said this is where the blame comes for him. Emotionally, mentally, he has to be better. The comments he made after that game early in the season that wasn't helping his case. But obviously that had to do with some of the coaching staffs and things that they were saying before cameras got in. You are not helping this case of trying to get rid of him to the point where now, come off season, if I'm up teams like Minnesota and Miami, I'm lowballing the hell out of you for the job. Why? Because you're not showing that you know that you don't even care about his value, and you're gonna have to get rid of him because you're trying to rebuild, and you don't want him there. You're going for a full rebuild. So why am I going to give you an arm and a leg when I can give you a couple toes and some fingers, and still make good with it? So this is why I always say yes. Organizations have to be held accountable with how they present these players that they're trying to move, as well as the player just trying to be presentable as well. You see what happened in Atlanta with Kuminga. Look what you got back for Kuminga. Porzingis, who been sick since I had waves.
But I feel like Golden State was trying to squeeze the lemon out. Once they realized they couldn't get Giannis, they had to make some type of move. I don't think it was the right move, but they had to make some type of move to get him off.
The reason why I'm glad you mentioned it, because the reason why I point that out is how long have we been on this podcast talking about the Warriors need to make moves when it comes to Kuminga, pods, etc. When the fire was hot, when you had him at his most value, you didn't want to move him. Now you get a questionable Porzingis when you could have got Zach LaVine.
Yeah,
you could have got all these other players. You could have been, and then you had another. I forgot who it was because I'm going off the top. I have to go back and check. A lot of these big names you could have got, you was holding off deals because of Pozinski.
Yeah,
bro. Like this is why I said I don't feel bad because they had opportunities to make big moves to help Curry. The only reason I feel bad for is Curry because as much as I can't stand hearing clips glow about them damn Warriors, I gotta give respect. But Curry deserves better, and it sucks that Jimmy Butler torn the ACL because I do believe they could have probably beaten Minnesota in that second round had they been healthy, just because of the gravity Curry brings and everything. But yeah, I feel bad for them. No, I
just hope it doesn't get to the point where Curry kind of gets fed up and wants. I would like to see him retire a Warrior. I hope it doesn't get to the point where he ends up wanting to leave because they're not putting the right pieces or even attempting to try to put anything around him.
I said that I think they need to just move him and just go to a full rebuild.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because with him, Butler, and Draymond, they're holding up a chunk of the majority of the cap. So you're not going to be able to bring much people in anyway. If you're going to try to fully rebuild this team, unfortunately, just move off those players so you can get the cap space. Now, I agree. I want Curry to retire as a Warrior, but I also want to see him in a predicament where he can actually compete for a championship. Despite me knowing if he wins another championship, I probably will have to give him the best point guard nod over Magic. But that's okay. I'm okay to do that. But it's just, he deserves better, honestly.
Moving on. Let's talk about the MVP ladder so far. Right now, the top 5, it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is.
It's more than likely probably going to be Jokic, Shea.
Yeah, Jokic,
not
Shea,
in that order, but those two.
Luka. We got Cade Cunningham at 4. And
rightfully deserved.
And it looks like Giannis is still there lingering in at 5. To finish off, we got Tyrese Maxey at 6, Donovan Mitchell 7, Victor Wembanyama 8, Sengun 9, and Jaylen Brown at finishing off at 10.
That's disrespectful. He should be one of the front runners, in my opinion. But
I mean, I believe he was top 5 like a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he's still averaging close to 30 points a game.
Yeah.
I think he definitely does need to get more credit given what he's doing there without JT, which, to be honest, it's not surprising to me. He just has more opportunity. I've always known that Jaylen Brown had this in his bag and could be this co-1. I never really considered him like a B or a second tier. He was always he could have that, but he just needed opportunity. So I definitely think him at 10 is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, he should still be in the top 5. A name that I didn't hear that, especially if you have Giannis still there, considering his season and individual season along with the team success. Another person that should be in this conversation is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has been balling this season. But I would argue Kawhi has been better than Jalen and KD this season. But I will argue Jaylen Brown has been slightly better than Kevin Durant this season. I think JB should be in the top 5 at worst in MVP talks, considering what people thought Boston was going to be. And I'm not saying like I was expecting 29.5 points from Jaylen Brown this season. I was looking maybe at 26, 27. So extra basket or something like that isn't too much of a gap, but it's how he's doing is what is surprising me. But given the narrative that the most valuable player always been about, not from you guys, but I'm speaking from the media, who can do more or less, and then you bring in the winning aspect. There's no one in that top 5 that we mentioned that is doing more or less than Jaylen Brown. And less, because these players are NBA players still. Give them respect, but you know what I mean.
I would say with Luka, he was at one point, but then he had people come back way before Jaylen Brown did. So that's fair, because Jason Tatum is out for the whole season. So yeah, but when you said Kawhi's supposed to be doing that. All the players and everything, the way they move heaven and earth for him, I would expect that. This is the earliest we've seen it.
My bad. Go ahead, Musa.
I was going to say is those are fair points, valid points. But even still, with some players that's been in out of the lineup for the Luka, Jaylen Brown don't have Austin Reeves playing the way Austin Reeves was playing before the injury. Now even him coming back doing what he's doing, 35 off the bench. Jaylen Brown didn't have a James Harden who was still putting up really good all-star like numbers. So Shea, granted, Jay does been in the lineup. You still got that team itself is still intact. AJ Mitchell stepped up. Chet is an all-star. I disagree, but he's an all-star. So, and then you have Cade. Cade has Jalen Duren, which I'm not surprised Duren's an all-star given the team success. Plus, I've been high on Jalen Duren, so I kind of knew and expected this from him. But yeah, I don't think JB's gonna win the MVP. Not want to go that far. I wouldn't be mad if he did.
I mean, it would be crazy if he wins it before Tatum, given the year he had. What was it when they lost?
But it'd be narrative driven because and we had this talks plenty of times. Based on what we grew up upon, Tatum would have won the MVP. I think the year they lost the conference finals.
Yeah,
when he averaged 38 and 5, because it was the year they won the championship. I'm sorry, he would have won it that year. But narratives now is a lot different. So, because I believe if it was back then, Shea, Jokic would by far be the top 2, but then you probably have Brown in that 3 to 5 range, considering the circumstances. But I mean, I'm not mad. I'm happy Kate Cunningham's there because he definitely deserves to get some love, because I believe with all these injuries and stuff, he might have a chance to actually win it, considering they're the best team in the East from beginning to end. Roman, what you think?
Before I give mine, I'll say how y'all feel about the new game requirement that they have to win these awards.
For the award, I'm not mad at it, considering that we was always complaining about players not playing these games and low managing. So now when you have the players that we know are the far superior players in the league missing time, you're gonna have players that people don't really pay much attention to or tier below winning these awards. People's gonna have issues with it. I mean,
would you tweak the rule to be games out? How do you create an exception for games out due to legit injuries instead of just the coach just keep it as is?
The most, because I think the limit, the bar right now is 65 games at least to be played, correct?
Yeah, around there.
It's almost too that if you kind of cut games, we gotta have your game point average can't really drop, because if you're injured for more games than that, and your points per game is going to drop, you can't really you can't be considered, because you're at now 5 points a game versus 31, you missing like a couple of weeks. And it's unfortunately, but and then to get back to that 31 points per game, you got to average at least 40 plus the next couple of weeks to get back in that conversation. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think the best thing that they could have done was using the games played. That's the most fairest way you can do it. Because point averages and stats is going to be tricky because we already know, and Jeff T confirmed this. These owners will have these coaches sit you out at a certain time frame so you don't meet certain thresholds where they don't get you bonuses on contracts and certain averages, so they won't trade you. I mean, so they can trade you for a lower price. So playing the stat game is a very tricky game, and I'm glad they didn't do that. The best way was the games played. You got to play the games. Now, I'm assuming if the games are 65, because I have to double check. If the threshold right now is 65 games, the lowest I'll go is 60. But outside of that, I'm not going any lower because it's not fair. But we have seen in the past, we have people play 5-6 games and still make all-star teams back in the day. So it's like, I think it's a good threshold to have. It just sucks that players again hurt, and
that's fair.
That's kind of my
so my top for the MVP ladder?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not too mad at how it is right now. I agree with you completely that Brown should be higher. I think he is the engine of the Celtics right now. He is carrying more than not that he should, but he's carrying he's the main offensive player for the Celtics. I feel like he definitely should be higher. That stretch where he had, I think it was like 10, 11 games where just dropping 30 points. Yeah, and I think it was good. So I think he definitely should be higher in the ladder. I'm not a fan of. I don't hate it. I don't hate Shea's game. I won't say I hate it. Not fully my cup of tea, but it deserves its respect. Now, if he wins, 2 MVPs back to back, it'll be interesting. And the same thing with Jokic. If Jokic wins another one, conversations where he ranks all time in centers needs to be had. But I'm not too mad about the list how it is right now. How was Mitchell Donovan?
I think Donovan Peso said was around 7 to 8 threshold, I believe, or maybe as high as 6.
And Brown was what, 10?
10.
Ooh, yeah. I would. Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
I didn't agree with that one. Yeah. I would put Brown a little higher.
Question for you guys. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you go.
No, you're good. Yeah. Now, I as it stands, I don't like, besides the Brown one, that's the only one that I would put much higher. Like you said, Cade. I've grown to like Cade. I like him. He's a great point guard. I feel like the fact that he's that big playing at the point guard position is a huge advantage compared to when matched up with other teams. But I like him where he's at. But I do agree with you. I'll end it on the point of JB should definitely be higher on that list.
Yeah. If Shea's already in these conversations based on the season he's been having the last few years. But if Shea goes back to back on these MVPs and then tally that up with another finals run, there's gonna be some tough conversations people want to have because what he's been doing these last few seasons is second, and I think it's his 4th season in a row, averaging at least 30 or more on high efficiency at that from mid-range and inside the paint when you consider getting downhill. I think Shea should win it at this point of the season. I did have Jokic, but Jokic missing the games kind of helped Shea get. It was closer. It was already close, but I would say if Jokic continues what he's doing and they're still very close, if Jokic wins it, I wouldn't be mad. Because they're both equally deserving. But yeah, it's looking like it's basically a 2-headed race between him and Shea and Jokic.
Cool. Before we get out of here, fellas, Roman.
Yes, sir.
You're brand new to the panel.
I
don't know if Musa already warned you, but we got to get your top 10 before you
I
get
did
out.
not warn him at all.
It don't have to be perfect, but if you had a top 10 right now in today's NBA, what's your top 10?
Can I do it with no order, or it has to be
No
order?
Peso being generous.
Yeah, it's not really
We
fair.
have to you gotta do order.
Yeah, you gotta do order. Yeah, you gotta do order.
I gotta do order. Oh man.
If it's easy, we can say based on this season.
Yeah.
If it's easier for you. Based on this season, who will be your
top 10 NBA players right now off this season? I'm gonna go Jokic, Shea, Brown, Cade Cunningham, Luka, Giannis. Let me think. That's what, 6?
I'm surprised I ain't hear one name yet.
Yeah, hold on. Let him finish.
All right. When you put under pressure, you be blanking out. I wasn't
ahead.
expecting this.
I'm trying to figure out what name it is.
Trying to think too. Let me see.
Did he say Cooper Flag?
Wemby.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say Cooper.
That was the name I was waiting
Nah,
for.
I was talking about Ace. Ace over here trying to troll.
You got 3 more.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Wemby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying my best to not miss a name. Let me see. So I had Wemby. Who am I missing?
I feel like the last 3 kind of could be interchangeable depending on.
Nah.
There's a couple people.
I'm blanking out so badly right now. Jalen Brunson.
There we go. I thought.
Let me see.
There's a couple names we haven't mentioned yet in the West.
Yeah, two more.
Anthony Edwards. I got what? 2 more?
One more.
We might have to get everybody's right now because I ain't even think about this. Who's my top 10 players?
I would say Steph, but then injuries. Let's see if I had to pick something.
If you want to rock with Steph, you can. I mean, it's so many talented players playing at a top 10 level.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be mad at that.
If injury isn't a caveat, you said this season, that's why I'm like trying to see how I can do it. Without injuries, I would end it with Curry. With his injuries,
I like Sengun.
I like Sengun too.
We haven't said KD.
Top 10.
Yeah,
At least for me.
KD or Kawhi.
Yeah.
I'll end it with Curry. I feel like I can't put. I'll end it with Curry. I feel like I can't put Kawhi over Curry for this season. I feel right now. Okay. I'll say it like this. Kawhi's having a great stretch right now.
I don't know about that.
I think Kawhi's having a great stretch right now. But I think overall, like in the beginning of the season, before he got injured, I think Curry was playing amazing. And again, we're seeing this good stretch right now of Kawhi being healthy, balling out. Overall, like you said, this season, if I don't take into consideration his injuries now, I think Curry was playing overall better.
How many games Kawhi missed this year? I'm gonna check. I don't think he missed that much games this year.
That's not bad. We had to get that top 10 in there, man.
What's your top 10 players this season?
Shit. If I had to, I would say Jokic. I'm gonna go Shea. I'm gonna go Wemby, Luka. I'll throw Giannis in there despite the injury. Probably put JB at 6. Anthony Edwards at 7.
Kawhi missed 13 games this year. I'll
go KD
13.
at 8.
I'm gonna look at Curry.
I said Wemby already. I'll go Brunson at 9, and I'll probably throw in Donovan Mitchell at 10.
That's one. Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so Curry's played one more game than Kawhi. He played 39. Kawhi has played 38. So yeah, can't Can't be mad at that.
Real quick, Ace, top 10.
This season.
Ah, damn, I forgot about K.
I forgot K too. I don't know if I say K or not.
Nah, neither of us did.
Jesus, all right. It's a lot. It's a lot of talent.
Drago, listen carefully. Me and Ace about to have an interesting list.
Austin Reeves.
Okay. Lisa, go ahead.
Oh, I added him back to the stage. It was a little lag. Ace over here trolling.
I was gonna say Austin Reeves.
Hey, I ain't mad at that though. Early in the year before the injury,
the four referees that helped SGA get every call. That's 5.
Lord. I don't think he's leading the league in free throws attempts this year.
Cooper Flag.
What's your real top 10, Ace, this season?
Jokic, Luka, SGA, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards, Jamal Murray.
That's a good name. Shout out to the first-time All-Star finally. Jokic finally got an All-Star on his team.
And am I missing somebody? How many is that? I'm going to just put LeBron at 10. Got to keep it going.
How could you not, right?
Got to keep it going.
You know he in the top 10, but I ain't mad
then,
at that.
Well, no, that's 9. And then Giannis. I'll put Giannis after LeBron.
Top 10 players this season. Interchangeable. So I'm just gonna say the top 2. That's obvious.
Before you go, because I got a dip.
Mhm.
I got the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. I hate to admit it, but you know, it is what it is.
So.
Anywho,
I hope they win.
Go ahead, Musa. Top 10.
I'm gonna say the first 2 names. That's obvious. They're interchangeable, but Shea and Jokic. That ain't a debate. My third spot, I will probably lean Luka at 3. 4, I'm gonna go with Cade. 5, I will go Wemby. 6, I will go Kawhi. 7, JB. 8, I'm gonna go Anthony Edwards. 9, I'll probably go KD. And 10. Oh, I didn't say Giannis, right?
No,
not yet.
Okay, so who I had at 4? KD. So just put Giannis at 4, and everyone else will get
slide everybody back.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I wanted to say Tyrese Maxey, so I'm gonna give Tyrese Maxey some love because he's been balling this season. So,
see, so many names.
Real quick before we get out of here, fellas, Super Bowl picks. Who y'all got, man?
Patriots.
Come on now.
Let's go Pats. Let's go Pats.
I gotta go Patriots. But I don't think it's gonna be easy. I hope it's a high scoring game, like 24, 27-ish kind of game. But it can get ugly if we can't block. It might get ugly for us because Seattle ain't no joke.
Go Pats, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning into the show. Like and subscribe to the channel. And we are out. Enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend.
Go Pats.